Hey guys, what's up? It is Sarfnic here. Welcome back to another stream. I was going to stream SCPSL, but it seemed like the servers were down, so yeah, here I am instead. Streaming more, working on the water park. I decided I would do the intro on Harth SMP because, I don't know, I just felt like it. I just saw it. I was like, yeah, I need to log in. It's been a while anyways. But I thought I would also continue something that I was doing in my hardcore streams, but I couldn't really do for the past few months because I died in my hardcore world. Which is continue talking about summer of 2023. I was telling the story, and yeah, let's just say I died in the world, so nope, no more story of that, actually. But yeah, I thought I would just be on this SMP just quickly, you know, where I eventually will at some point soon build my thing. It sucks because my PC sounds like it's so ear rapey, I know. I can't do anything about it. That's why I was thinking I was wait till the summer began. Wait till summer 2024 began to actually start streaming about, talking about summer 2023 again. But I remember where I left off. There are some details that I remembered I was going to do, but then I forgot. I was on here like a week ago or so, and I actually put in I did some work. I built this. I did this cool sign. What do you guys think? I also worked on the rooftop a bit too. You may see some, so it looks a bit more progressed, but still not progressed fucking enough. But I'm going to continue telling the story of summer of 2023. I obviously a lot of time has passed now. I started doing this in like September, and now it's April, so obviously my memories are fading, which is kind of bad. But same thing happened last year when I was doing summer of 2022. Like, I started talking about it back in like, I think, was it November or October of 2022? And I didn't even finish it until May of 2023. God damn it. So yeah, similar case here. Let's continue down the story. So we left off in one of the first weeks of July of 2023. So I was talking about how there's 2 days left of my summer camp session, and I think I left off when there's about one more day, right? So I think I left off on the Thursday of one of those weeks. So it was the Thursday of week 4 of my summer job, and there was this other counselor who's only 16, but he's like the only other guy counselor. Like, who's a counselor? I mean, obviously the assistant camp director is also a counselor. Yeah, I know this PC noise sucks, and it's gonna suck having to hear this, but this is literally just how shit my setup is. Like, how the audio is. It refracts my PC sound really badly. I can't do anything about it. I want to do stuff about it, but I can't. This is actually a pretty cool shot. I don't know why. But, yeah, sorry. I don't know what to say. I don't know what more to say. I'm sorry. But you're welcome. And instead of you're welcome, I'm sorry. Yeah. But, so, let's continue where we left off anyways. So, there's one more thing I want to mention. So I haven't streamed on this channel a lot. I've been busy, and I picked one of the worst times to stream because I actually have a friend who's staying at my apartment for the next 3 days. He's not here now. He's doing something else, but yeah, I don't know why I chose today of all the times to stream. It's like I've been procrastinating. I've been like, my life's been pretty busy. It's just been easier to work on YouTube videos than it has been to like actually like stream, which is weird, right? Because usually, like, I feel like back like 6 months ago in October of 2023, I was like non-stop streaming and barely uploading, and now I'm like uploading and barely streaming. But truth is, it's like I've got a lot going on. My life's really fun recently. It's been going up and up and up for the recent times in 2024. So yeah, that is why, if you're wondering, I have not been streaming that much. But yeah, let's play. Also, I have my waypoint map open because, yeah. And it's overriding with one of the old worlds I had. Oh, this is the old, what was it? FDS SMP. Yeah. Sucks that it's overriding it, but I guess that's what has to happen sometimes. Alright, let's play, shall we? Let's play. So, yeah. Let's continue working on this, and I'll tell the story meanwhile. I'll also add some like little fences, and that's one thing I could do. Yeah, I know it's so loud, dude. Oh my god, it is so fucking loud. Hold on, let me close this chat and reopen it. I had it because I tried streaming SCP earlier and it just didn't work out, which sucks. I wanted to play, but whatever. At least I finally get to continue with the story, I guess. But yeah, anyways, I'm sorry. I told you, if you guys know or watched one of these streams before, I'm very bad at storytelling. It's just my ADHD makes it so hard for me to focus. Like, I see people who stream themselves playing, all the time. It's like, I can't do that, dude. Like, they'll be playing something and telling a story. Saying, like, I cannot fucking do that, bro. Like, I don't know how you do that. I have to do, like, voiceover later on, or else I just can't, you know? But, yeah, so it was the Friday. And, yeah, so the next day was the Friday. And we went to the beach this Friday. It was week 4. Just a reminder, we didn't get to go week 1 because of, like, horrible waves and shit and being cloudy out. But we did get to go week 2, week 3, and week 4. We also went week 5, week 7, and week 8. Week 5 is an interesting story, which I want to get to. I've had it in my head for a long time, and I keep thinking, I can't wait till I get to talking about that on the stream, because this is very interesting. Not the best situation, but definitely the most interesting situation that I got myself in because of my stupidity, just me being too trusting of kids and telling them stuff that they probably shouldn't know. Don't worry, it's not horrible. It's just something that is just embarrassing that happened that I'll talk about later. That you wouldn't expect to happen for someone who was their 2nd year of working as a camp counselor for. Which, by the way, I've already confirmed for a 3rd year now. Like, that happened in between the last stream, which I think was in December. Yeah, back in March, I forgot confirmed. It's like a little over a month ago. I was pretty happy about it. I'm like, finally, I get at least 1 more year of summer camp, which is going to be great and so satisfying. Because I'll admit I was pretty sad after leaving those kids back in August. But anyways, I'm getting too far ahead of myself. So, this beach day, we had all the kids riled up in the morning, just as they were like the previous afternoon. They're all like taking sides, like, all right, we're with Counselor Aiden. What's the other counselor's name? I don't really care shit if I say his name. It's like, you know, it's a pretty common name. And then Counselor Sarfnic, I have to say. And so a lot of kids from my group, the red group, the older kid group, were on my side. And a lot of the younger kids were on the side of the other counselor. I forget. He was working with, I think... He worked with every group but mine throughout the summer, but obviously that's over a course of like 6 weeks because he arrived like around week 3, somewhere like that. I think it was start of week 3, oh no, midway through week 3. So he really worked with us for 5.5 weeks. But he should be with us next year though. He's planning to at least. Still got a guy on Instagram, but you know he's a really cool guy. But back then we were beefing just because I don't even know why we were beefing. I think it was just because we were 2 guy counselors at the time. Kids kind of like, ooh, which one's the better guy counselor, you know? And it just became like that. Except he was 16, and I was 20 at the time, so, you know, it was a bit of an age gap. But, you know, he's like one of those people who, like, he has facial hair. He's been through puberty. He's basically older than he looks, you know? Or he's younger than he looks, sorry. Hold on, I need to drink water. When I do these storytime streams, I dry out my mouth pretty fast, so I need a lot of water. It doesn't help that I just had a Girl Scout cookie, so I have bad breath, and you know it tastes bad in your mouth. Like, oh, my breath's bad. Yeah, so just deal with that. What a cheap this is. The Jeb, right? Hey Jeb, what's up? All right, anyways, let's actually add some stuff back here while I'm here. If I try building, I will get a bit distracted, but I hope that's like part of the experience, right? I've never done one of these storytelling sessions on specifically this stream, the building the water park streams. Which is just something new, I guess. But yeah, so, yeah, sorry again about the PC. It doesn't make a lot of noise. Can't do anything about it. I'm getting a new PC in like 2 months, probably, so yeah. Probably 3 months, honestly. I probably won't have it early till July. But, anyways, I haven't ordered yet. Like, see what I mean? I get into too much tangents. So, what I remember was, do you remember the girl that I was talking about who, like, did this camp the same camp the previous year, and she also did a sports camp too, and that's where I got to know her, and she was back this year. She and her friend her redhead friend were really against me, bro. They were, like, fucking, these 2 kids were, like, the #1 fans of the other counselor. And then, there's this one kid in my group, I remember saying he likes stream a lot. He was like my #1 supporter, and he was in my red group, so he was with me. He had a sister too. I guess she was with me too. And then there were a bunch of other kids. A lot of the older kids, they were with me. A lot of the younger kids were with him. And I had more kids on my side. A lot of kids, like there's just really one young kid from the green group who he really didn't. He was really obsessed with me, but he really wasn't obsessed with me until the 2nd session. But this is kind of the start of his obsession. He was like flip flopping between groups, but he ultimately settled with me, which made me very satisfied. And so Counselor Aiden would keep like saying to me, I guess I'll just call him the floater counselor. because that's easier. The photo counselor keeps saying to me like, "Oh, this kid's switching sides," and I'm like, "Come on, man!" I come to the kid, I'm like, "Why are you doing that?" But one kid who was big on his side and was in my group was this blonde girl. I always said looks like Anna Sophia Robb from The Rich Terabithia, who I met last year at a different camp. I've talked about her in the previous stream, so if you've seen the previous streams, you know what I'm talking about. This girl. She was the meanest girl in my group. She was really big on his side. And so I told her, if you side with him, you're going to be... this is really fun, but like, you understand how fun these like types of days and like occurrences are when you work at a summer camp counselor job. It's so much fun to have like a bunch of kids, like political groups forming like alliances and like clans. It is so much fun. I told her, she said she's be on my side, and she like shook my hand and everything, and I was like, this girl is not trustworthy. But I said, but as like a way to like coerce, I'm like, oh yeah, if you break it, oh that's weird, this is still stone. I need to actually fix this. Good thing to know, right? Good thing to know, I guess. I said, if you betray me, you will not get any more pushers. And oh, by the way, she's the one from St. Thomas, if you're wondering. She was like, it was her last day, basically. I don't even know if I'm ever going to see her again. I hope I am, but I don't know if I am going to see her again, you know? And so I was like, if you betray me, you are not getting pushed ever again for the rest of the session. Which is, you're leaving, like, she had like a flight, like, a couple days later. So, yeah, she was going to be gone after this day. For the whole summer. She was one of the few kids who, like, there were a couple kids that this was their last day. Because this is the last day of the session, right? And so... she was like, I promise. Now, remember, this is like, if I told this story like 6 months ago, I would have remembered way more details. But because I chose to wait so long, a lot of stuff I have forgotten. Like, I've kind of forgot a lot of the other stuff. But there are a lot of kids, like, but I guess it's good because it kind of makes me tell the story more generally rather than get into details too much. But, yeah, pretty much there were other kids around. I don't know how I feel about this, so I'm going to get rid of it. I think we do need some tables around here, though, which is one thing I don't have, which I will need. So, I'm going to make some quartz stuff quickly. But yeah, I told her, and she shook on it, so we'll see. Or I guess you'll find out if she kept that promise or not. So, yep, the beach day began, and we went to the beach. And, well, I kind of realized I was fucked, because guess what he had on him? He brought a whole ass water gun. Like, a whole, like... Nerf-style gun that could, like, shoot and spray so much, could store so much water, and I had, like, the classic ones we had where you had to refill, like, every 2 seconds or else you'd just be out of water. So I was like, shit, it might be over. But I had a plan, and I came up with this plan, because I had a bunch of kids ask me, like, what's the plan? And I'm like, I don't know, and then I thought of a perfect idea. I'm like, what if we take the buckets that we have for our beach group, and all of you guys start attacking them with multiple buckets, spraying them with water. This is a water war. Yeah, that's what I call it. I call it water wars. But it became such a big, like, everyone at camp was talking about it that, like, even my boss noticed it. She like, came up to us. She's like, all right, whoever wins this competition will be crowned the king of camp, which I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, my boss, she's a nice person. I say this in present tense because she's going to be working here next year, too. Or she's going to be around this year, too. Sorry, I don't know why I said next year. She'll probably be around next year, too, though. But she's a very nice person, but sometimes says some weird stuff. Like, one time she made, like, a porn joke about a kid, and I'm like, geez, this is, like, unlike you. She's like, oh, yeah, this kid probably watches porn or some shit. Like, obviously, like, on the side. I probably shouldn't be saying this, because, like, this is actually something that I shouldn't talk about. And whatever. But she's a nice person. We've all made... if you see all the fucking, like, I consider that, like, a fumble on her part. Like, I'm like, why would you make a porn joke? We're talking about kids here. But... if you hear, especially, wait till you hear what I did on the beach day of week 5, then I'll be like, overall, she probably did a better job than me and acted more professional than me, but I thought that was a little unprofessional. I probably shouldn't have mentioned that, but I guess more information means you'll understand the story better. I think that sheep should stay there. I think that sheep fits very well there anyways. But, yeah, so we can actually do decorated pots, too. I kind of like that. I mean, I'll just have one here just because, I don't know, I'll also have, like, a spruce button. I don't know. I was going to add, like, a regular pot, but... to be honest with you, doesn't scale that well. Whatever. But let's continue anyways. So, what happened next is we went to the beach. And I swear I probably... there's probably more stuff that happened, but since I'm telling this story later than I wanted to, I don't remember. But we arrived at the beach, and then water wars began. Let me make this short for you. I lost, but it wasn't my fault. My plan was good with the water, with like taking advantage of the fact that we could like just spray them with buckets. And we even like were like running after each other at the beach and stuff. But the issue was my kids, the kids that were on my team, kind of lost interest in the war pretty fast. But meanwhile, the kids that were on his team, they did not lose interest in the war at all. And I just unlocked the memory of something that happened, I think, either week 5 or week 7. I'm just going to assume it was week 7, so I'll talk about it on week 7, but yeah. Maybe I'll remember. Maybe I can look back at some footage on my phone. Maybe that'll help me remember. Probably won't, though. But I probably won't talk about that until, like, next stream anyway, so I don't know. But anyways, so we fought, but the kids that were against me and on his side, they were pretty active. I'm gonna have like white wool's towels, by the way. They were like pretty active and like constantly going after me, and then my kids lost interest after a short bit, and that's why we lost, because my kids lost interest. And so, yep, at the end I said to my boss, I conceded. I'm like, yeah, he won by like a decent bit. like the kid that was in my group that really like Dream, I remember seeing him like just like playing with sand. I'm like, dude, rejoin the war, and he's like, oh yeah, I kind of lost interest or something like that. I'm like, come on, man, come on, this is so bullshit. Look at this is Mr. Krabs. I'm not sure what's the front or the back. I think these would be the front claws, so this is actually the front, but I always interpreted this to be the front, but whatever. It's like those would be his legs and stuff. I can't zoom because no Optifine does. Optifine doesn't work with this map mod for some reason. They're not compatible, I don't know. But anyways, continuing the story now. I lost and I conceded. I was like fair and square. That ended badly for me. And he was crowned king of camp, and it never mattered again. And what we said to each other was, well, we'll do Water Wars again at some point. Like, we were thinking so this was like what, session 1's last beach day, so week 4's last beach day. We were saying week 8 would be our last beach day, so the end of session 2 and the end of like the overall camp year. I'll give you a spoiler, we never did it because we became such good friends, we just didn't have enough of a rivalry anymore. But that's for later, obviously. So, yep, continuing on. That was that. And we obviously walked back, and I remember there's the blue pod counselor. She was a girl who was pretty chill. Aramis, this is for Harth SMP. I'm just telling the story of summer. This is what I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to build this on Harth. Does it look familiar? This is the old Arclurthai island place. I'll quickly show you because I don't think you've ever seen this before, but we got a restaurant over here. Yeah, we got cool bars and stuff. Then the hotel is over here. Like, we got a casino, which isn't done yet. It's in production. Then I'll show you the hotel rooms. Wait, that's the most impressive thing in my opinion. The hotel rooms. You ready? You ready for amazingness? Voila. It's gonna be available for rent, hopefully before the season ends. There's other hotel rooms too. I can fly to maybe 1 or 2 more. S7, there'll be a custom NPC aesthetic quest. Ooh. S7's on the way, right? It was supposed to be May, but now it's June, I hear. And then, oh yeah, I can show you the arcade too, and there's a couple other things we've been building. There's an arcade here. This is where you can get your game on. I actually went to a bunch of arcades recently. In March, I went to 2. I was technically at 1 today, because my university has one. Should use it for the bartender. Ooh. The only thing is I'm probably not going to build this in S7. I've kind of like, I've based it out so it's perfectly able to be built on the Arclurthai island. So I'm just trying to finish up the top floor. Me and Themo need to finish it because like, it's going to take forever. Oh man, I keep delaying it and delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. But, yes. Oh, for Harth or whatever. It'll be fun to see. I've got 2 weeks until college is done for me, so yeah, we're on about because today is 22nd. In 2 weeks, it's the 6th, which is literally the day I move back home. If my last exam, and I'm going right home after that. So S7 and S6 will run parallel after a small time in S7. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. You want to start out the season at 7. Good. Good. Very good. It's kind of like they're both brother-sister seasons, I guess. So maybe I'll build most of this then. But the new aesthetic quests will be usable in both. Okay, great. I mean, I guess at some point you can allow items to be transferred from both worlds back to each other. But I feel like that should be limited till like 2 months in or something. Sorry, I'm burping on water, which sometimes happens. Anyways, I'll continue my summer camp story. But I was saying this other counselor, I'm like, I gotta drive to Milwaukee. It's gonna be a tough one. So yeah, I was gonna go to Milwaukee. Now we're on to the part where it's about halfway through the summer, and I went to Milwaukee. So I'm gonna tell the story of that. So after work, I get home. It's 3 o'clock, 3:30, and I need my car, but my brother's using it. So I wait till 6:30, and then I drive to Milwaukee, which is something I really enjoy, by the way. I love going to Milwaukee. I went recently in January, too, and I'm probably going to go again this summer. Stay on my grandma. You know, I used to do it a lot as a kid in 2017, 2018, 2020, but then my grandpa died, so I haven't been able to do it much since, but I'll just go hang out with my grandma, and we do stuff. And so I drove by myself all the way to Milwaukee, which was an hour-and-a-half drive. And back then in the summer, I hadn't driven much alone, so it was kind of like I've driven very far alone, so it was kind of like my experiment. Common Coot L. He came so late back from the gym. And so we arrived there. My grandma is very based in Red Pill, by the way, Aramis, don't worry. Very based in Red Pill, maybe a little too Red Pilled. Kind of like the kind of like naive Republican type, you know. And you know what we watched? I don't know if it was the first night, but you know, we sat down and we watched some stuff. One of the nights we watched Die Hard 2. And so I decided to make it a tradition that every time at my grandma's house, I watched a Die Hard movie. Like I went in January, we watched Die Hard 3. It was really nice. Yeah, there's going to be some beach stuff here too, Aramis. I just need to finish working on the hotel upstairs, so I'm probably going to grind that out right now. Yeah, I love Die Hard. Indians summoning me. God, what's happening? I mean, my grandma's not Indian, if you want to know. God. We gotta get back on Baldur's Gate, Aramis. It feels like it's been forever. It's January. What's your excuse? Is that when we're gonna play in 2 weeks? I mean, I'm down, actually. I'll be very free at the start of the summer. My summer is actually like a week longer this year than like it's ever been. So I'm pretty sure this is gonna be the longest summer of my life. Like, we won't even end until like less than a week. We won't even like end summer until like less than a week before Labor Day this year, which is kind of just wild. So I'm up for a show. That explains it. Yeah. Well, good luck with your stuff, I suppose. I'll continue telling my story to no one, I suppose. I don't know. Whoever wants to hear it is really just here for documented purposes. But I drive there, and the first night, what do? I don't remember. So I'm going to go back through my phone and see what I have photos of. I think we just had dinner there. I'm trying to... Okay, I think I remember now. I don't even need to go back my phone. So first night we didn't do much because it was like 7, 8 p.m. when I arrived. It was still a day, though, because summer moment. Something Aramis hates, but I love, is the long daylight hours of summer. And what's funny is I remember seeing, like, my grandma's, like, one of those, like, cool, like, photo... digital things that like shows multiple photos. It's like a digital photo, what's it called, photo frame, and like it showed a picture of my grandpa at the beach that I was just at the like earlier in the day, the previous 2 hours back. I was like, yeah, I was literally there earlier. Ain't that funny? I think I forgot to mention some stuff. I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but we also had like a camp video we probably watched that Friday or the previous Thursday. There was a talent show on the Thursday, I think, or maybe it was the Friday, like in the afternoon before we went to the beach. I'm not sure though. But there was a talent show we also did. I just want to let you know, just in case I forgot to mention that last time I streamed storytelling this story of the summer. But anyways, yeah, I've never seen a photo of my grandpa, who's since deceased, died in summer of 2021. Sad. By the beach. I'm like, hey, I was literally there earlier today. But yeah. My grandma's very chill. I'm very close to this grandma. I'm texting her now. I don't think since like Easter, so yeah, probably gotta do that soon. But continuing on, anyways, the next day we didn't do too much. The next day, but we did a little bit. But like, so we went to the zoo. This is the Milwaukee Public Zoo. It's a really nice zoo, and I hadn't been there since spring of 2018. So it'd been like calculating 4+ years, right? 5+ years, what am I saying, right? Yeah, 5+ years. It's been almost 5.5 years. So, but it still seemed like just yesterday I was there. I still have a shirt that I bought when I was there in 2018. But we went around and it was a whole day. Like, going to the zoo in the summer is so freaking nice, people. I gotta see chickens. I gotta touch goats. I gotta see seals, penguins, all the assortments, birds, bats, all those creatures. It was a really fun time, guys. A really fun time. Aramis is gone now. But anyways, it was a really good time. And then we were also wanting to go to, so there's this pool, this nice water park. It's kind of more like a pool, public pool water park with a couple water slides. It's outdoor. They used to go to all the time as a kid. I remember going in August of 2015, and the last time I went was August of 2017, where I met this friend. I had a really fun time. So I'm going to tell you the lore. So the latest 2 times, or before this, I guess it's not the latest 2 times I remember going, was in August of 2015. I went and I met this kid named Jesse. I think this white kid. He's such a nice kid. And I remember swimming around with him, and he had a sister who was like, I think probably adopted. One of them was adopted because his sister was like Asian. I'm like, that's not your sister, bro. But he's a very nice kid. I remember him even talking to my grandma. And I remember at the end, it was like, well, I ever see you again, I want to get your number. And like, you know, parents can be assholes. So my mom's like, no, you're not. She was like mean about it. She's like, no, we're not going to get his number. Just say goodbye to him. It's the last time you're ever going to see him. And I was like, no. I was like, goodbye, man. He's like, oh, will you be around here next time? Or the same time next year? I'm like, sure, I probably will. And we said we'll see him then. And then I didn't come there. I did not come there in August 2016. But I remember I was taking a bath at some point in early August 2016 and thinking to myself, oh, am I ever going to see this guy again? And then August of 2017 came. And I went there, and I met this nice kid. He was like this young little, I think he was like half white, half black kid. He was like really young. He was probably like in 4th grade back then. And I was obviously starting 9th grade. So I was probably entering 4th grade, and I was starting 9th grade back then. Nice little kid. I remember talking to him. And I took Snapchats, but this is before I knew to save most of my Snapchats. So I didn't have any Snapchats. I don't have the Snapchats saved. But this time it was just me with my grandma and grandpa. Oh, hello, Delta. I'm just telling the story of summer 2023 if you want to listen in. Although right now I'm giving context. I'm talking about like when I went to this pool in summer 2017. But yeah, the first time when I went in 2015, it was with my whole family, or most of my family. But this time was just my grandpa and grandma. And I remember being like, sorry to clear my throat. Jeez, when I talk a lot, I'm really messing with my throat. But I remember being like, to this guy, I'm like, oh yeah, can I have your Snapchat? And I got a Snapchat. And then we always talked about meeting up again, but we never did. Like, and I went again in like 3 months later in November 2017. I thought of hanging out with him, but then it just never happened. But anyways, I think I saw a photo of him in summer of 2023, just from his Snapchat. Now he looks like, he's probably like a 11th or 12th grader now. Yeah, that makes sense. If he's 4 years younger than me, probably like around 11th grade, 12th grade in high school. And he looked like he was like a really tall kid. He had like a whole mustache. He was like posing with girls. I'm like, wow, looks completely different than I remember him. But I still can remember how he looked like as a little kid. This kid. But anyways, like we hung around there. We swam around the main pool. We played Marco Polo with some girls, like random girls. It was so much fun, man. I really fucking enjoyed it. And I hadn't gone since. And I heard in summer of 2022 that my grandma was telling me, oh, they didn't have enough lifeguards, so they weren't open this year. And I was like, oh. But summer of 2023, they're open, baby. And I originally wanted to go back in May, when we had plans for me to go to my grandma's house back in May, but then I had like a whole job fair I had to attend, so I delayed it to July. Now in the present tense of what I'm talking about. The present story that I'm going over right now. But, yeah. So, we slept, and we watched some other movie. It was some old-fashioned movie, I forget. One of those like old-fashioned New York movies, but like from like the 1960s. It was pretty good, or 1970s. It was pretty good though. Pretty good movie. About some guy detective and some girl, like some whole government conspiracy. He goes to his work and they're all dead. Then he goes like pick up stuff and they pick up food for his coworkers and he just comes back and they're all dead. You probably recognize the premise of the movie. But a really good movie overall. And then the next day we were debating. I was like, we gotta go to this place. And so we did. We went to the water park, and I'll tell you, this water park looked the exact same How long had it been? So 2017, 3 plus 3. 6 years later. It's kind of weird when you think about it because, like, while August of 2017 was the last time I went and now it was July of 2023, you think, oh, that's so far apart, right? 6 years. But the halfway point between those two is, like, late July of 2020, which feels like nothing ago. It's so weird, right? It's like the phenomenon that it's April 2024 and we're as close to April 2020 now as we were to April 2016 back in April 2020. I know a lot of you probably don't care about that, but I'm really into that stuff. And I think that's kind of wild. Batshit wild, honestly. But anyways, continuing. So, yeah, I went back there, and somehow the trend of every time I go there, me making friends with a random kid continued, bro. Oh, you can't hear me. I'll say. Okay. Okay. Alright, good to know. Good to know. I need some water. Hold on. So there's just always like this one grassy area that my grandma and grandpa used to like put their lawn chairs in, like while we would play as kids and like swim in the pool. And my grandma chilled there, like right nearby, and it was so awesome, dude. You know, like being back at this water park I hadn't been to in years. You know, oh dang, no, delay's not that bad. I literally typed in chat and like I looked over like 5 seconds later and it was there. Sorry, my beard hurt. I have such a big beard now. If you see my second channel video I posted today, you'll see my beard. And sometimes it like rubs up against my lips and makes it like mustache actually more than my beard. It makes it uncomfortable to speak. And for some reason I've just gotten in that situation. But anyways, so I met this kid. He was like this black kid. He was like kind of tall, but he was only like 15, I think, or 16. And I was like, and I forgot how I met him, but we just started talking and we became friends. So for the 3rd time in a row that I went to this place, I made friends with a random kid. And kind of like the first time when I met this kid, Jesse, I did not get this guy's contact just because I didn't feel like it, you know? So I didn't get his contact, but he was a really cool kid. We even went like, there's this like really giant water slide that we've always gone down in the past. And I went down with him. Like there's 2 versions. There's like the solo version and the one where you get to go with 2 people, like on like a tuber. I went with him and my grandma got a video of it. And it felt like the old days, you know? Like, the whole thing about summer of 2023, and I guess 2022, and maybe even 2024 will be like this, is it's like a combination of the old days of my life and, like, the new days of my life. Like, the old days of my life, like, being, like, 2013 to 2017, and the new days of my life being, like, 2018 to 2021, right? It was like a combination of those days, you know? Like, I work at my elementary school. I'm in contact with a lot of kids, so I'm doing a lot of childish stuff, and as you guys know, kids get along with me super well. I really enjoy working with kids. Like even this semester, I've been doing volunteering at a school, which I guess is different than last semester. I go to a different school now than I did last semester, which is probably the last time I was telling this story over. And those kids like me, obviously. And, you know, I think it's because I have a very childish personality. Like, I enjoy watching kids shows. Like, I watch Ninjago. I love going to water parks. I love playing games and all that. I'm just very young personality, right? I got very young charisma, you know? That sounds wrong, but trust me, it's fine. Like, my charisma, my energy is, like, young, you know? And so I really enjoyed doing all the stuff with these kids. And I really enjoy doing kid stuff. And so that's what I like about my summer is being, like, like, my recent life being, like, I get to have fun, do stuff I did, like, when I was a kid. But also, I get to do adult stuff, too. Which is, like, if you combine the best of both worlds, you got a great world, you know? And so, just like having like my grandma recording me while I'm like hanging out in the water park, which yeah, it's kind of like this. The water slide was way better than this shit, I'll tell you that. Although it was very similar to this. Like you'd go through and then like go underground for a bit, and then you'd go down. Obviously. Yeah, it just felt like the old days, even though I was like 20 years old at the time. Just like the old days, you know? Just like the old freaking days, man. It's like a quote from the latest Ninjago season where Zane's like, feels like the old days. I'm in. Or reminds me of the old days. I'm in. Yeah, really fun. But anyways, after a few hours, I left. And I felt satisfied. And I said to my grandma, I'm like, you know, that was just something I wanted on my bucket list. I'm probably not going to return to that water park until I'm like a full-on adult with kids. Like with children of my own. Or at least with someone else's family. So, yeah. But there is one more water park I want to return to, which is the water park that this is inspired by, which is I think I might have said it. No, I never said it on stream. Okay, I'm not going to say the name then. I want to go back there one day. Maybe one of these summers. I might go to Great Wolf Lodge this summer because my cousin wants to go to a water park. Either we're going to do Six Flags, Hurricane Harbor, or we're going to do Great Wolf Lodge. So, yeah. Okay, I need to continue working on the hotel rooms, so let me go back up there and do that. Sorry, I need to clear my throat now. You should work on your SD, man. 100% Delta. Go for it, man. I was supposed to play SCP Secret Lab today, but the servers were down. That's why I'm doing the stream. So just so you know. But, yeah, Themo and I were going to get on like a week ago, but Themo ended up being too busy, so I never got to do it with him. So he's going to help me work on this war, I guess. But for now, no, we don't have Themo. Anyways, let's continue telling the story. So then I took a shower and drove back home. And so here's the problem. I needed my phone for directions, right? And the issue was my phone was like, I held my phone up like by like the front of the car, obviously. I like a thing that holds it up. And the big issue ended up being that, well, my phone was overheating. This would happen a lot later on in the summer when I go to like the beach and stuff for the summer camp beach days. But it's a big issue when you're trying to get somewhere and your phone shuts off because it needs to cool down, right? Giant issue. And so in fact, I was actually very mad when that happened. I was like, shit, what am I going to do, right? My phone was just like powered off randomly and it doesn't seem like I could do much about it, you know? So yeah, it was a pretty bad situation. Thankfully, I was already on the freeway by the time my phone shut down due to overheating. So I just like followed the freeway, took my phone off the stand and let it cool down, and then like looked at it like while on the, which is a bit more dangerous. I looked at it while I was like on the like kind of like near the like side of the car, which is a bit more dangerous, but whatever. It's definitely less dangerous than like driving in a place where I don't know where I'm going, right? So yeah, that happened, but whatever. Then we arrived home, and what sucks is my mom and dad wanted to eat dinner with me and my brother and all that. So like I pretty much got back and then quickly short after went to the downtown of the city north of my house nearby. We just had a steak dinner. It was actually pretty nice. I don't know what I was celebrating because none of our family's birthdays are in like July, right? But it was celebrating something. And then the next day, session 2 of summer camp began. How deep into the stream are we, by the way? Just so I know. 37 minutes. Okay. I'll continue talking about it. Session 2, baby. Holy fuck. So, there was a couple things I wanted to mention. So, my boss told me, like, right at the end of the session that... Oh, this reminds me of something I completely fucking forgot to mention. So, the end of the camp session, right? I kind of, like, dashed after the beach day straight into, like, me going to Milwaukee. But at the end of the beach day, on the end of week 4... we had to say goodbye to some kids. And I told you there's this one girl who was in my group that was really, like, she was really young. She was kind of young for her. She was, like, 7. Obviously, it was emotional for her because she was, like, from Texas. So she was, like, I just remember, I was in Texas recently. Maybe she lived in the same area where I was staying with my niece and stuff. Probably not, but I never thought about it until just now. But anyway, she was pretty sad. I was like, oh, goodbye, kiddo. I'll miss you. Like, crying and, like, hugging and all that. And then there was obviously the girl that was from not Augustine, it's St. Augustine's in Florida. It's not even in the Caribbean. St. Thomas. And she broke her promise. I forgot to mention, she broke her promise. She ended up betraying me in the water wars. I was like, damn, kid, that's brutal. And because of that, I was like, girl, I am done giving you swing pushes. Push down the swing, okay? And then so the big thing was I lost some kids in my group. A lot of kids stayed, though, because a lot of kids are 2-session. There's also this one, I talked about this brown-haired girl who's, like, really smart. She was also gone. And anyways, I lost some kids, but I was also about to gain some kids. So one thing my boss had said to me then was like, oh, I'm going to do a quick swap between you and the blue group because there are some kids who aren't getting along, and I think it'll be better serving them if they are in your group, one of them. And so, I have motivation to build. Well, first off, I did take like a 2-month break from this, and then I took another 2-month break from this, so I don't have too much motivation to build. But the main thing is just seeing the end product and knowing that you are going to be proud of it is amazing. Like, I built like this really big project 2 summers ago for the same SMP, and once I was done with it, it just felt so satisfying. So kind of like that's my motivation to build, you know? Knowing that I'm going to be satisfied with the end product, you know? So I was originally going to like duplicate each floor, like each hotel room up a floor, but now I feel like I'm lazy, so I might just like have it be unique per floor. Like this hotel room, maybe something over here is going to be a hotel room too. Yeah, I don't know. But, oh, we need space for a bathroom. I could probably work in a bathroom in that space. Whatever. But yep, that's my motivation, I guess. I do need to add more lights though, so hold on. I was gonna like for now add in like sea lantern lights and make them look good later. Although I don't think I'll leave that there for now, anyways. I need to plan out the rooms layout right now, anyways. But yeah, just build, start small, do a small project and finish it on a SMP world, and then move on to a big project. You know, I think that's definitely the best way to get help to build. But anyways, my boss had told me that she was going to do like a swap of kids, and somehow I guessed exactly who she was going to swap out. So, you may remember there's this one very mean girl I mentioned briefly, and I said she would come into play more in the second half of the camp year than the first. I mean, you may not remember. I don't blame you if you do. I'm just like talking in general to whoever's watching this in the future, who's like seen the other story streams. But this girl was pretty mean. And I had this like long running joke with her this school year, or this camp year, sorry, school year, of like where I had this like owl picture that I took of this one other girl's pet, like toy owl. Not pet owl. I wish a kid had a pet owl though, because owls are my favorite animals. I would love a pet owl. But I don't live in like Russia or China, so yeah. Yeah. I predicted that she would join my group because there was this other mean girl that she was always like getting involved with. But the thing was, that girl had a brother who was in my group, so they wouldn't put the siblings together. That would never fucking happen. So, I just predicted that, and I was correct. This girl joined my group, and I barely knew her. Like, I remember her the previous year because our old music teacher the previous year, who was a pothead, by the way, was complaining about her. Like, I hope she knows. Like, one time he just sat next to me on the bed. She's like, this girl, let's call her the mean red girl. I don't know. The mean, we'll call her C, I guess. The mean girl who has a name that begins with a C. He was like, I hope she knows when she's an adult that she was such a douche as a child. And I'm like, man, I was thinking in my head, I'm like, bro, she's a kid, come on, right? She can't be that bad, right? Then the second session of the next year, which is 2023 is time, but is when I get her. And then I kind of understand what he meant, although I still stand by the point. She's just a kid, bro. What do you want about, you know? So, she joined my group, and at first she wasn't that mean of a kid. Now, she was definitely one of the meanest kids in the camp, and I had one of the nicest kids in my camp who was there the previous session. He was a really nice kid. He was the one who always would find the postcard every week. He and her had never interacted, but then because they joined my group, I saw them interacting, and I was like, wow, this was like a crossover. You know, people like me like notice like when certain people interact, and you're like, oh, this is a crossover event, low-key. Like, recently I had my mom over at the university for Mom's Weekend, and we ran to the president of Lego Club, who's like this really nice girl I've known for a couple years, and they were talking, and I'm like, oh my god, this is such a crossover event, low-key. I guess we're going to see a lot of crossover events in Deadpool and Wolverine, which the trailer just came out today. I'm not going to post my reaction to it until tomorrow, just because I don't want to post 2 in one day after I don't post for like over a month. But anyway, sorry, I was checking my phone in case my friend texted me and needs to get back. Once my friend gets back, I'm ending the stream, if I don't end it prematurely. Alright, anyways, so continuing on, which I've actually been telling the story pretty well so far, even while building, which is pretty nice to think about. Anyways, continue on. There's not enough space here for a bathroom. I don't know why I did this. There's literally not enough space here for a bathroom. I'm gonna need to revise this. Hold on. Fuck. No, whatever. I mean, I'll figure it out, I guess. Maybe just, I don't even know. There's not enough space here for a bathroom, dude. I'll figure it out. I don't know, though. Don't worry. Here, like, bathrooms here or something? I don't know. Figure it out. Don't worry. And bedrooms here. I'll figure it out. This is where the balcony is, by the way. But Anyways, continuing the story, as I keep saying I'm going to do, and I never actually do. I decided that, I didn't decide anything. What am I saying? I'm just, like, doing filler. I was just doing such a great job, I'm kidding. We had some other new kids, too. There's this, at the time, I was watching Sweet Tooth, which is a really good show. I recommend you watch it. Like, I think in June, the final season's dropping, which I'm pretty excited for. But there's this character, he's like a general. I already forgot his name. It's already been, like, so long. But this girl joined our group, and she's, like, part, like, I think her dad is, like, from either, like, Norway or Denmark or something, or Sweden. They're like one of those, like, Nordic families, you know? And she was like she had a little brother too, who was like only probably 2 years younger. And he joined the blue group, and she joined the red group with me. And her dad looked like this general character I was talking about. And I remember pointing out to him, like, not the first day I met him, but a different day. And, like, I remember he came up to me and, like, he's like, "Are you the person in charge of the red pod?" And I literally said to him, I still remember this quote, I said, "Yes, I am red pod." I don't know why I said that to him. I said, "I am red pod." It's like, okay, you're red pod, I guess, bro. Yeah, that was me. I was the red pod counselor, and I just said, I am who controls red pod. You know? And obviously, all the counselors from the previous sessions were still with us, including that somewhat annoying, but also someone I probably should respect, aide that was with me. But one thing changed. Remember I said there's this, like, white blonde girl aide? So when they did the swap, I forgot to mention this earlier, I just generally forgot. They swapped out one girl from my group and replaced her with the other girl I was talking about, the mean girl. So the girl that needed the extra aid, so instead of having 2 aides with me, I would only have 1, which is kind of nice, I guess. Less people working with me, having to judge me for every little bad camp decision I make, you know, camp counselor decision I make, you know. So she, that blonde girl, dipped because her kid moved to a younger group, which is probably good for her. She seemed like she probably would have done better with a younger group of kids anyways. But now I had to deal with a whole nother girl. You know, the other mean girl from St. Thomas had just left, and then I just got another one, which is something I talk about with my boss, like the way I ended the camp year, but we'll get into that when we get into that, I guess. Oh, maybe I'll forget it by the time I actually get to telling the story about that. Thank you. This is somewhat calming. That's nice. Yeah, I'm just building and telling stories. I think it's a fun thing to do, honestly. As far as I used to do it on my survival series, and my hardcore series, but never did that on this one. I decided I'll just do it on this one. It's kind of nice, right? Look at that. Ain't that nice? Ain't that nice? Okay, so I'll have Themo figure out the rooms for me. I'm just gonna, like, do the outline designs of them, of course. There's gonna be one more room over here, which, based off of this, I think should be a bit large. So, yeah, just like this, probably. And obviously, it shows off the water park view, which is kind of sick, low-key. Yeah, there we go. Whew, sorry. It does annoy me how much my PC makes noise, but whatever. I wonder. Never mind. If I can do like a floor 2 to floor 3 type thing, I probably won't do it, but whatever. This is easier to have like this. Takes up less space too. Should I do like a rooftop terrace too? Now that I think about it, I could very easily have like a whole roof. We'll worry about that when we get to it, I guess. It's just more work for me, I guess, but it'd be fun, you know, like a rooftop garden type place, courtyard, whatever. I think that'd actually fit. Maybe I will do it. Who knows? Who knows? I gotta check my phone to see if my friend texted me or not. Okay, he says he's not coming back to like 11. It's 9:20 now, so I don't know. But anyways, let me continue the story once again. We'll work on that later. I'll decide that with Themo. For now, I'll work on the outside more. So, yeah, I had this mean girl in my group, and I also had this other new girl. Then there was a new boy. I feel bad because I kind of made fun of this kid for this, but he was like part Hispanic. Not that part. I never made fun of him for that part. But he was also part Jewish, and he had a little mustache. He was an 8-year-old with a little mustache. And so you remember there's a kid from the green group who's Happy World Book Day. Dude, it's Earth Day. Not like World Book Day. It's Earth Day, man. But also, yeah, I do need to pick up more books. I have been reading a lot recently due to being a creative writing minor, but it's a good reminder to open up more books. I did buy I bought something from, you know, Neil Gaiman, who did like the Graveyard Book and Coraline. He has like a book about Norse mythology, and since I play Valheim, I really like Norse mythology. So I picked up a copy, and I haven't started reading it yet, but I got it like a week ago, so I gotta start picking it up soon, I guess. Just bring it around with me in my backpack, and so when I'm at class, I can just pick it up and read it. But yeah, anyways. I forgot to mention, this mean girl is the one who is the older sister of the kid in the green group who really likes me, and who has an aide, or had an aide, who was someone I went to high school with. But anyways, I was talking to that guy about the kid with the mustache in my group, and he's like, oh yeah, he's probably got like that Jewish heritage where, you know, you have like early facial hair. And I'm like, wow. Like, I've heard about like kids who like have mustaches like in middle school, but like in elementary school, this kid's wild. But it was like such a light one, like you could tell it's not gonna grow out for a while anyways. But I remember talking to him about it once. I didn't really make fun of him, but I did talk to him about it once. Like, yeah, a little mustache, and he seemed kind of angry about it. But anyways, this kid was super quiet. Like, despite being in my group, he like hardly spoke to me. Like, I could probably count on my fingers how many times I spoke to him. Probably like 6 or 7 times. But he was good friends with a really nice kid in my group, which was nice because he had just lost like I mentioned there's like a brown-haired girl who was really smart. Those two were friends, and they always talk about Zelda, Legends of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. So he lost a friend and he gained a new one, which is kind of nice. Hello, Ryan Johnson. The cow, of course. I name cows after people who join my streams. How would you like one? I don't think I have one for you yet, Delta. So let me make one quickly. I'll name this pig after you, okay? Name tag, really fast. Delta command. Okay, may I introduce Delta Command, the pig. Yeah, so anyone who's joined like these water park streams, I have sheep named after them. So Sloth's here. I guess Brian Johnson's here. We go around and find all of them. They're like strolling around. Over here was like somewhere around here was Jeb, but he isn't named after anyone. A lot of the sheep have just like traveled off. Some of them might have even died. I'm not sure though. But yippee! Congratulations! There might be some around here somewhere. Wait, here's one. Which one is this? Red, which is my friend Fake Red, who I actually still talk to a bunch. And then there's one more over here. I think this is It's Stickle, I think. It's Stickle. And if you were named after, if you're like somehow It's Stickle and you change your name, I will be removing your pig, by the way. So yeah. Although I'll rename your sheep. But anyways, let's continue. Yippee, yippee, yippee. What do you think about this, by the way? My friend made this. I originally worked on this alone, but then I had my friend help me. Although I did most of these stuff alone, my friend helped me like the hotel rooms and stuff in the arcade. It's kind of nice. Okay, I need to get back to work now. We also have a sewer, but I don't want to work in that right now. Oh yeah, I was working on the front. I wanted to add flowers and stuff. Kind of like similar to a reservoir I went to back in 2021. Okay, so we'll do fur. Actually, I have it all right here. What the hell? Grass, fur, and all that stuff. Yeah, we'll just add in some. Like, you can tell it's been planted by the. It feels like Dubai almost, like all the fake foliage, but it's been planted by the establishment. They put all this shit in, you know. It wasn't just like naturally grown, you know. Yeah. I actually kind of like when you grow like. When I used to build back in 2017 a lot, I would always put in like tall grass and tall ferns and all that. Or tall grass, large ferns, whatever. But obviously over here there shouldn't be that much because, you know, it is a park, right? I'm already debating whether I want to keep this as grass or not. For now, I'll keep it. But yeah, I'm getting distracted in the story. And we probably had some other new people. Oh yeah, we had this one girl who... We had 2 girls who I remember from last year. One who was in the purple group last year. Or not last year, I can't say anymore. My first year, because last year is the year I'm talking about now. So in 2022, there's this girl who's in the purple group, who along with this really mean girl you may remember I was telling the story about, who's Sloth, by the way, who will be relevant again, which is kind of wild, you know. There's this really mean girl I met week 5, and she had like a partner who was like her partner in crime. This girl was her, and she came back for weeks 5 to 8. And Jesus Christ, I was scared, bro. And then there was another girl who I remember from the second session of my first year, but the issue was I only worked 2 days that year. But I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but she was the girl who like came up to me and was like, "Hey, you're back!" After I was missing, like you remember week 5 of 2022, I like went to a different camp. I was at the normal camp on Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I was at a different camp, and then I came back on Friday and I was done. Yeah, that girl like came up to me. She's like, "Hey, you're back," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna be back that long." But I didn't know her back then, but I remembered her face, and so when I saw her again, I was like, "I know you. You were here last year." And I think she was in the green group, the green pod last year, but this year she'd upgraded the red pod, which is quite the upgrade. There were also a lot of new purple pod kids, so there's this one girl in the purple pod who is new. And, oh, I forgot, we're also doing magenta pod. So for week 5, we also did magenta pod. So it was kind of hard to distinguish from the new kids who would be in my group for the whole session and the new group kids who were just in the purple group. But there's this one blonde girl who was new, who had the same name as one of the different campers from the Andrew family, so that was funny. And her story was weird. She was only here for the first 2 days of week 5, first 3 days or whatever, and then she would come back on week 7 for the rest of the session, or at least she would come back on week 7. That was it. And so I thought that was weird, but most of the stuff involving this girl happened on. Okay, I'll jump off. Most of the stuff with this girl happened on week 7, but I just want you to know I think she came, and I think she dressed up as a cat. I don't remember if that was week 7 or week 5's. Like dress up day. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. I actually don't remember week 5's dress up day. So I was weird. Like I was thinking about like I remember week 6's, I remember week 7's, I remember week 8's, and I remembered week 5 like a couple months ago. I remember out of the blue I remembered it, and then I forgot it again. So yeah, sorry. I'll see if I can remember it off the spot, top of my head later. But for now, I don't remember week 5. Yeah, I actually did jump off. You see? Look at this. It's floating water too. Wait, is he something cursed? Yeah, if I like break any blocks, this will go down. I don't want that to happen. It already is going down right here. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna continue telling the story, I guess. So we mixed, so we had a lot of kids. There were like these twin girls I barely talked to. There's just this one kid who I guess identifies as they, them. They were kind of like a girl, so yeah, that's the best way I can describe them. They were very quiet, and they were a kid who kind of seemed old for camp. Like, this kid was kind of big, you know, kind of looked bored half the time. I felt bad for them, I guess. You know. And there were some other kids, too, but I can't remember right now. But our schedule was weird. So, what actually happened is we had, like, a counselor time, and there was a bit of an incident, and I'll tell you about it. First, we started off in music, and I remember, like, I was sitting with the mean girl C, and you know how I want to see this park IRL? You know, it was actually based off of an IRL park I went to. It was based off of 2. It's based off of one in Millennium Park, which I actually was at, like, a couple weeks ago in late March. When I was in Chicago for a Model UN conference, I stopped by. But it's also based off a park I went to in England back in 2019. I could show you photos of it if you want in the future. It's actually a really nice place. A giant ship park with like nets you can climb up in. It was very nice. It was like in a park in London somewhere. I don't know. Maybe one day. I plan on going back to London, England, maybe in like summer of 2025. I don't know though. I think right after I graduate, my cousin who lives out there wants me back in London, so she wants me to visit. She was at our house for spring break, and I feel like she kind of owes us because of that. So yeah. But that's in the future, not now, obviously. So think about the now. Although I'm telling the story of the past. Think about the now, Sarfnic. Think about the now. People like me have a little more trouble getting over the past and like are very nostalgic towards things. That's kind of why I'm talking about this story in the first place. But anyways, continuing. So, hello, it's Tickle. See, now I'm like running to a point like I don't know what I want to build. You know, like let's add some tiny things. I don't want to like do most of the hard labor. You know, so I'm just like flying around and telling my story, I guess. But anyways, I'll put some rocks under here too, just so it's realistic, you know? There are going to be rocks under here, whether you like them or not, you know? Although we try to limit them as much as possible, you know? Good little pebbles. But, yeah, I need to continue, so. Is there any buttons I can add on top of here just to make it look better? I got a cherry button of some sort. Actually, I do like that. It makes it look more, it adds more of a pop of color, you know? It adds more depth too. Like, oh yeah, it bounces up a little bit, you know? to being a flat thing. I like that. Could change by me. But yeah, so I remember sitting with the girl C and like we were talking to like the really nice kid. I'm like, wow, I'm so surprised these kids are talking. And then I don't remember what we did for our drama class, but I'm sure that was a fucking fun time, whatever it was. But then came I remember the order of this, which is kind of weird, right? Then came counselor time. And so, the two girls I remember from last year that had just joined my group, we'll call one of them the most annoying one, L, who I remember literally last year after the first Monday of week 5, I wanted to kill myself after dealing with her. Like, or like they took all my puppets and like were running off with it, and it was a pretty annoying thing. Yeah, she was being super fucking annoying. And then also C was annoying, and also this the other girl that I remember from like I met like 2 days last year. Still can't hear me, by the way. Wah. Okay, am I her? Okay, I'm good. But anyways, they were fucking around in the counselor time, and we do perler beads. We did a lot of perler beads. Summer of 2023, which we didn't do much in 2022, but we did it one time, I remember, but I wasn't really knowledgeable in it. And they like were like messing up the perler beads, spilling it everywhere. So I told the other counselor, I'm like, look, these kids have made a horrendous fucking mess. So I told the other counselor, or my like aide, whatever, I'm like, can you take them to the next take the rest of the kids to like the next class, which was art, and these 3 are gonna fucking stay here until they clean up their mess. And it was a good moment on me. Like, I made sure those kids cleaned up their shit before they ever got back to or moved on to the next class. Obviously, it was a nice little thing I built here. I forgot about this. So you don't even hear my story, which is okay, I guess. It's okay. But yeah, so I made them stay behind, and of course there's like some fucking hole in the classroom where we were. And they're like putting perler beads in their hole. I'm like, look, kids, don't fucking do that. I never said fucking. I think I mentioned this earlier, that there was one time where I accidentally cursed in front of a kid, and they noticed it, and they're like, language, but that was like earlier in the year, so yeah. Anyway, but I said the S word, and that's it. I said who gives a shit when I was in front of a kid. It's just funny, but you know, it's fine. It's fine when you slip up, as long as it's not on purpose. Like, you're not purposely cursing in front of a kid. Like, the previous year, I met a girl who cursed in front of a kid, and, like, the bosses got mad at her. It was at, like, the sports camp I worked at, like, week 6. Good times. But anyways, back to the present storyline. Yeah, I made them clean up their shit. And then once they did, they gotta go to art. And, of course, in art, the girl L was messing with the other girl. We'll just call her Z, I guess. And got, like, clay all over her. And I'm like, look, you guys cannot sit next to each other if you're gonna do this shit. And that was the end of the Monday. I was like, wow, this is going to be a fun 4 weeks, baby. And oh, did I not know. Because we had a field trip later that week on Wednesday. And so because of that, oh, I remember what the dress up was this week now. We had Magical Tuesday. Instead of having Wacky Wednesday, we had Magical Tuesday, which the dress up theme was anything magical, baby. Which is kind of similar to like the one we had a couple weeks earlier, which was Renaissance themed, you know, which is mainly just medieval. To children, Renaissance means medieval. We had a lot of dragons and princesses and stuff. But yeah, there was indeed magical stuff. So I think the one really blonde girl who has the same birthday as my mom, who honestly, I'm predicting ahead of time, if I do end up working this year, which I probably do, and she ends up showing up this year, she might be in my group, which I hope she's in my group, because this girl I've had like such fun interactions with, but they're so limited. She was like dressed up as like I think like a witch, and we had like a bunch of kids dressing up like magically, and I don't really remember how the costume contest went, because this is like one of the least memorable ones to me. But oh, see you, Delta. One of the counselor aides dressed up as like a Star Wars character for this day, which is really good. There's a counselor aide who kind of like came in and out of camp. Like, they worked with me for week 3, but then they left for a bit. I think they came back maybe week 5 for like a day, and they came back for week 7 and 8. And they're probably gonna be back this year. And they have like a fainting disorder, which we don't need to get into yet. But they came back, and I think they dressed up as like a Star Wars character, which this person is cosplay, if you're wondering. So Yeah, that's what they dress up as. That was pretty cool. I was actually in contact with them recently because we have a group chat that had been inactive since October, but then we finally brought it up again. We're like, oh yeah, who's working camp this year? Which I guess I'll get into maybe soon, or maybe even if I do end up telling the story of summer of 2024, which I probably will, honestly, if it goes well. So, yeah. You'll see that in 2024 and 2025, I guess. But, yeah, it was pretty fun, Magical Tuesday. I don't think I dressed up for it. But one thing that started was the new girl that joined my group and the mean girl C, they started becoming friends. And you think, knowing if you knew both of them independently, you probably would have thought they wouldn't have become friends, right? But think about it. One girl becomes friends with another girl. You know, they're both like white girls who are probably around the same age, like 9 years old. Yeah, I think they're 9 years old. So, yeah, and if you're wondering who the girl I'm talking about is, it's the one who I said was from, whose dad looked like a character from, looked like the main villain of Sweet Tooth Season 2, whatever. Yeah, General Wire. I found that name's. It's funny, my dad also looked like that guy too. Like my dad has a photo of him posing as if he's that guy. So this is funny, you know. But yeah. Anyways, he that was his kid, and they started becoming friends. And so I started to notice this. And on on day 3 of week 5, Wednesday, when we went on our next field trip, it was notable. So we went on a field trip to, believe it or not, the University of what's it called? Fuck, why am I forgetting this? I literally go to the University of Chicago. That one, yeah. UC. Yeah, University of Chicago. Nice campus. Trust me, bad area, but nice campus. We went to their campus to check out the Oriental Institute, which has been renamed to, but like the original name is Oriental Institute, you know? Because it's kind of a racist name, you know anything about. Actually, I wonder if this will work. Does it look good or no? It kind of does look good, like corner lights. Kind of changes things up, you know? Adds variety, you know? But, anyways, we went there. It was kind of funny because, like, I wish I took photos of this. I don't have any photos of this for some reason on my phone. I was, like, going to show a friend of I'm like, oh, I don't have any photos of it. But we were on, like, their quad, and their quad is super nice. And it's, like, compared to this college quad that I was on today because I literally took my friend on a tour there to show them around and stuff. It looked kind of different. I'm going to get to the end of this week, including the beach day, and then I'm probably going to stop streaming. I just want to get this over with completely, if I'm being completely honest with you all, you know. It's like a talk. This beach day is hype. I'll talk about with you in a second. But, anyways, so, yeah, we went on a field trip to this Oriental Institute, and on the bus drive there, guess who sat behind me? C and the other girl who, isn't it weird that I temporarily, let's call her L. And they had just become besties, and I guess I had my like clipboard with me. Like counselors, we have like a clipboard with like papers and shit, and they were like, "Let's draw on your clipboard. Let's draw on your." No, here's what happened. So the girl C, who's a bully to many people, and as a boy counselor, I have to like push back against her bullying sometimes. I started calling her. Her name is very similar to Latte, so I started calling her name like a. Not a pun, like a remix of Latte to make fun of her. And so for some reason she would start calling me my name Chino Latte, which didn't ring as well. I would tell her that, like, it doesn't ring as well. And so like I guess I drew something of her like going to like a coffee store, and her and the other girl who were sitting behind me on the bus, I gave it to them. And who I sat next to was, I think it was the female, the purple counselor. Who's a very nice girl, by the way. I hope she comes back next year. She was around the previous year, too, so it was my second year knowing her. She was next to me and on the bus, and we were just chatting for a bit. And I was reading my book a little bit, too, because I had read my book on the previous field trip, and I was reading my book on this field trip, too. Anyways, she was with me, and these girls drew, like, the most, like horrible stick drawing of me ever, and it was of me, like, at the coffee store, and, like, somehow something happened with social media, and everyone was making fun of me. And so I, like, ripped it up and made a new drawing of her, of C, at the coffee shop, and, like, people making fun of her, like, oh, it's da-da-da latte. I thought it was super funny. And it became, like, a drawing war. I think I kept like 1 or 2 of them. I don't know where they are now. They're probably either in my house or in the trash, and I've been in the trash for like 8 months. Either way, would it be 9 months now? 9 months ago was July, 8 months ago was August, so it'd be 8 months now. It's been 8 months since all this stuff happened. Kind of wild, right? In many ways, it feels like yesterday. In many ways, it feels like multiple years ago, you know? But, anyways, I'm excited to work camp this year. Hopefully I do. But, anyways, yeah, I'm getting distracted again, sorry. You know, it's hard for me to focus when I'm building at the same time, you know? But anyways, this girl, you know, quite the troublemaker, if I do say so myself. They were so fucking annoying on both of them. Like, the other girl, Elle, isn't really an annoying person, but when she's with this girl, she becomes annoying. I definitely told her that, by the way. I was like, you are annoying when you're with this girl, homie. But anyways, they were tag teaming me, so on the way back, I opted to, like, sit somewhere else, because I was like, I am not sitting next to them again. And so I sat next to this one girl who was pretty much she was around the previous week, so she was around week 4. There were a lot of kids who were in the week 4 purple group who came back for the week 5 purple group. And one of them came back for the week 6 purple group, and then she was done. But not anyone I'm talking about right now anyways, so. Maybe we should also make this like a whole open thing. I don't know, I need Themo to help me with this shit, bro. Okay. Yeah, looks good. I guess I should also add these bushes if I can. But, anyways, it was a fun trip. We just got to see some like cool ancient Egyptian stuff. I'm sure my boss has all the photos somewhere, which I'll probably never have access to, which is sad. I really wish I could have access to some of them. I really want access to a couple. There's a photo in summer of 2022 she took of me like looking super cute next to a bunch of kids that they put in like the camp video that I would really love to have. And there's another one of like from the year I'm talking about now, 2023, where it was like me with an owl hat next to a bunch of kids. I would love to have that photo. And there's also one of us all by the bean, which I think is legendary. I would love to have that photo too. But nope. No access. Although I do have one good photo of me and my kids from summer 2022, which I still have my camera roll, which I'll never delete ever. Man, my PC's so loud, guys. But yeah, on the way back, I sat next to these other kids. And there was the other girl who like lived right nearby the camp anyways, right nearby the beach. And so we like walked past her house, who was... Anyways, this girl was around week 4, and she was around week 5. So that was cool, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, moving on into the next part of the story, the Thursday of that week. I don't remember much. Again, if I told the story 6 months ago like I was supposed to, I probably would have remembered more. But then we go into week 5's beach day, which is a cringe-worthy thing for me. So this was obviously no water wars. We were done with that shit. But it was a beach day with the new squad of kids, which I thought was kind of fun. Which I think reminds me of something else I literally remembered earlier and then I was going to mention and I forgot to mention it. On week 4, one of the kids who was really into Dream, he was a kid who also, I also, like, apparently him and I were, like, talking about the sports camp I worked at last year because apparently we were in a room when the same incident happened. Like, when a kid was crying over Pokemon cards, we were around both when that happened. He was like to me, he's like, oh, you know, he says to me and his mom says to me, him and his sister went to this camp, and he's like, you know, she was like, you know, he never enjoyed any other camp. He always hated the camps, but this is the first camp he enjoyed and loved. And I'm like, oh, I hope this kid comes back next year, or now this year. I hope he comes back. I would love to see this kid again. A lot of these kids are going to come back, and some of them aren't. Like some kids I talked about in the summer of 2022 story didn't come back, and it was a big letdown. So specifically the one I like met, or I re-met at the sports camp, and the one who was like, cousins of one of like someone I actually know. Those guys, that girl didn't come back, near this other girl. But we'll get into that later. Maybe they'll come back this year. Who knows? Probably not though. But yeah, always hold out hope, you know. So I wonder, can I add like? You think it might be a good idea to add grass around the trees? No, not really. Because like I think trees can grow in sand anyways, right? Yeah, definitely can. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I totally know what I'm talking about. It looks cool. I would love to have like a pipe here or something pouring out water. But maybe a different time, maybe a different time. I need to get back in the story. But yeah, so I was like we went to the beach, and I don't really remember much of what happened. We walked there. Obviously, C and L were being very annoying. But I'm not sure if this happened on this beach day or the week 7 beach day. But just to be safe, I will talk about it on week 7 beach day. But if maybe I'll look back to my videos to see if there's any clues, perhaps. Probably isn't, but whatever. When this, but I'll talk about this later. There's this one really funny thing that happened at one of the beach days. And it didn't, I knew it happened in the second half because it involved C and some other kids. But I don't know if it happened in week 7 or week 5. So, yeah. I'll also assume it was week 7 until then. Assume the later date whenever possible. Just like U.S. law, actually. Which I'm learning about in my law class, which I'm about to complete. And hopefully never have to deal with ever again. So, yeah. Anyways. Checking for new text, my friend. Nope. Okay, we are good then. So, we went to the beach, and I remember the previous year, I might mention this, I think on week 2 of summer of 2022, I saw some girls I knew, but, they were family friends. I've talked to them, recently, although I didn't talk to them back then. If I can improve this a bit by just, sure. That does look better overall, I think. Shit, I fucked it up. Fuck. Yellow, light blue, magenta, purple. Light blue, magenta. I think overall it looks better. Hold on. There we go, it's better. Yeah, it kind of rounds up the corners a bit more, makes it feel more it makes it feel a little bit weirder at the same time. I think it makes it feel more picturesque, which I kind of overall think I like better. Rather than a weird square, Well, then again, I might just revert it low-key. I guess I have the options to see again. Yeah, obviously, I don't know. It's just a tough decision. I think the top looks worse, but the bottom looks better, Yeah, whatever. Plus the stone kind of looks, it sticks out too much when I have it down there. But I saw this girl who I had Spanish class with senior year, and I kind of had a crush on, but obviously that's long over. She follows me on Instagram, okay? So we're acquaintanced. We talk to each other a decent amount more. I talk to her more than my college crush, if you're wondering. My old college crush versus my old high school crush versus my old middle school crush. I talk to my high school one the most out of all of them, okay? But I never had a chance with this girl. I would love to get to know her more, but that's unlikely to happen. We have mutual friends, though, so maybe. But she's a beautiful blonde girl, which is, my main type. I've always crushed on her since I was, a little kid in preschool, literally. So, yeah, beautiful girl. But, anyways, she was there. I saw her at the beach, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So, later on, but this is, these girls at this camp, especially C and, her mean girl friend group, would always ask me, do you have a boyfriend, or do you have a girlfriend, and all this stuff. And so one day I decided to, this was one of the days where she was asking me that so much, and so obviously I didn't give him fucking satisfaction of an answer, but I was like, you know what, you're so so we'd gone back from the beach, and I was like, you know what, you're so into talking about crushes and girlfriends and all that. I'm like, you know what, you want to know a funny fact? I literally said this to C and probably her friend L too. So 2 little girls, I decided to tell them, well, they're 9 now, but they were 9 at the time. I told them, yeah, I saw my old high school crush. Now, you see why that's a fucking stupid thing to say, right? Why would I tell the most conniving girl at this fucking camp about, oh yeah, I saw my crush at the beach? What was I thinking, man? And it's not even some people might think it's inappropriate. Obviously, I didn't intend to be inappropriate with it. I just intended to, it'd be funny if I told them. I was around the purple counselor at the time, and I guess also the green counselor, not the green, sorry, the floater counselor too, who's the young one, the 16-year-old guy. And they're like, oh my god, bro, why'd you, but they didn't tell me that right away, but after things escalated, they told me, why'd you tell her that? Why? So you want to know the first thing she does? She's like, I'm going to tell everyone. I'm like, please don't. And of course she goes around telling each individual, kid, Sarfnic saw his crush at the beach, or I was like, old high school crush, jeez. And then she was like, oh, I'm going to tell like the camp director, my boss. I'm like, please don't. And of course she comes up to her and like she's like on the swing nearby, and she's like, Sarfnic's out. And it's just like one of the most embarrassing. Like I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? Why did I do this? Moments of this job was my boss, like seeing my boss just hear about it, and she just didn't look. She didn't care. She's like, oh, just looked at me. I was like, oh, didn't give a shit. But I know that she was like, why would he tell a kid that? And I'm like, oh god, why did I do this, man? Am I stupid? Like, why would I tell a kid? Like, what was I thinking, dog? Like, god. So yeah, that happened. I don't know what more to say about it. That happened. She told a lot of other people, like, you know, there's like the whole Andrew family. I don't even know if they were around week 5, right? I think they were around week 5. Those kids are probably freaking out. But I'm saying probably because I don't fucking remember. Again, it's been too long now, so it was such an embarrassing moment for me, and it's a moment I want to forget. And I'm pretty sure may have affected my camp counselor's like feedback, because at one point my boss mentioned like there's some moments that you could have handled better. I'm like, yeah, that's probably one of them. I knew my boss would remember that moment. I was so mad about it. Like, I was genuinely like, I lost respect for this kid C so much. I'm like, great, you fucking told my boss when I I was like, oh, just keep this between us, you know, kid. Like, I have like a really like fun and open, fluid relationships with the kids. Like, I was like, if you ask me so much about like, do I have a girlfriend? Maybe if I see my crush at the beach, I'll tell you in secret. Like, I literally told him, like, you want to know a secret? I saw my crush at the beach. Thankfully, it was after the fact. If I said, I see my crush over there, that probably would have been different. Like, I think she was in the water at the same time as us, for example. But anyways, that's kind of it for week 5. I remember going home, and I was just like, God, what have I done? The week 5 camp kids were kind of like a weird group. That's for sure. The magenta pod, when we mixed purple and obviously red pod together. And there's one more week of magenta pod. We'll get into week 6 when it happens. Or no, I mean next stream, because I am all burned out. My voice is dead. Thank you for watching. I actually made some significant progress on this project, which is kind of nice. Thanks for hearing my cringe camp stories, and I finally got to week 5. If you remember anything more, I'll talk about next stream. See you guys around then, I guess. Yeah, I made some good progress. My PC is making a ton of noise. Bye-bye. I'm happy I got to stream again.